Out of all of the predictions that the Simpsons got 100% right, I think this might be the biggest one that nobody is talking about yet. After the last 18 months with lockdown and cancel culture and politics, if you didn't have to deal with people directly, why would you? Meaning, if you had a job where you could work remotely, why in the world would you ever go back into the office and risk offending a liberal by something you say or something you wear, some offhand conversation? Why would you risk it? I think the vast majority of people in the world, in the United States, would love to go out in their front yard and just put up a sign that says, "Go away," and deal with other human beings as little as possible. What got me thinking about this today was this announcement out of California that they are officially, quote unquote, reopening. They don't understand it doesn't work that way. People are not robots. You can't just flip a switch and tell them, behave this way, and then flip a switch again and tell them, okay, now you can behave this other way. Due to a shortage of robots, this unit is human and may behave unpredictably if mistreated or abused. And after 18 months, if they think everything's just going to go back to normal, they're out of their mind. There was a realtor in a live stream that we covered last week with the governor who said the number one feeder market for Florida is California. People have just left, and if you think those that are remaining are just going to all of a sudden start behaving normally and start pumping tax revenue into the government again, think again. Now, you ready for the part that's going to blow your mind? If we react this way, meaning if we don't have to or want to deal with people when we don't need to, why would they? No one has even considered the idea that perhaps those operating those crafts that we see in our skies, what if they don't want anything to do with us? Hollywood narcissists have made so many different movies and series where first contact was this mutual curiosity thing. Where, oh, we didn't know you were there. We come in peace, and we have all of these things that we can share with you, and you can share with us. What if they don't want anything to do with us? Or, more importantly, what if they've been here this entire time, and they specifically are avoiding us? Meaning, they've seen your civilizations rise and fall, and then rise again and fall again, and they're just backing away slowly, because they want nothing to do with us. And they'd have good reason. What else got me thinking about this is this game we were playing on Twitch. It's a brand new release last May called Subnautica Below Zero. It's a very complicated game, and I had to step away from it because there's so much going on in the game that it almost isn't fun. You spend so much time collecting resources and building things and building other things that it could just become an all-consuming thing. If you were someone who had nothing else going on in your life, you would love this game. But one of the strange aspects of the game is that this planet where you land, it's an analog of Antarctica, has life forms already there who, once you start building things, they aren't too excited about your presence, and they begin attacking you. Now, who remembers, and this goes way back to the late 80s, and I've talked about Star Trek before, these people, these narcissists that are in charge of sci-fi. The very first episode of this Star Trek The Next Generation shows the ship being stopped as it goes to explore the universe by this energy grid that it cannot penetrate. And this life form, super powerful, called Q, believe it or not, says you can't go any farther because you are a violent, childlike race that hasn't evolved far enough yet. And the universe literally doesn't want anything to do with you. So go back to your little planet. Now, of course, what's the explanation? Basically, in a nutshell, the actor, well, this is John Delancey, who plays the character Q in Star Trek, confronts the Jean-Luc Picard character. And basically, that character says, "Oh, we're liberal enough now. We're progressive and liberal enough. Please don't hold our conservative Republican past against us." It's very anti-military, very anti-capitalist. But this is their narcissism. That they believe somehow that they have something to offer. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. And there's also another really, really good reason why those in Antarctica might be there specifically for the reason of staying away from us. It's self-preservation. There was something else I was reading about this exploration of other planets and how they determine what life is and what life isn't. You see, I really truly believe what we refer to as Antarctica was known about in antiquity and was just referred to by a different name, perhaps Lemuria. But in antiquity, ancient Greece, they didn't have the same level of sanitation as we do. Death was common, and death came early for a lot of people. This is a screenshot from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where you're exploring Atlantis. And in the storyline here, they have the same event. There's this mysterious illness that starts to break out. What if they're avoiding us because they just don't want to catch all of our myriad diseases? What if they don't have the same type of immune system as we do? What was the first thing that happened after the Columbian Exchange, when Europe made its way to the Western Hemisphere? We brought all sorts of diseases to the Native Americans that they had no defense for, and so many of them died. The Voynich manuscript, this strange document that no one has ever been able to decipher with a strange language, is a compendium of what seems to be herbal remedies and plants. Because it talks about mixing these plants to create this effect or that effect. The language is still a mystery, but you can divine from the images what they're trying to do. Why would this have been necessary? Many of the plants still haven't been identified in the Voynich manuscript. Now, this is the smoking gun for me with Antarctica. They may be down there under the ice on purpose as a defense. Not just from the nonsense that goes on with civilizations that rise and fall and their narcissism and self-involvement and self-delusion, but it might be something straight up biological. Now, this is a picture taken recently showing the range of temperatures that exist in Antarctica. 20.8 Celsius in Fahrenheit, for those of you in North America, is just under room temperature, about 69 point something degrees. Minus 89.7 Celsius is near the temperature of dry ice. That's how cold it is. So this is the range that occurs there. Now, record shows ancient temperature variations coinciding with shifts in the planet's biodiversity. See, there's two kinds of life. There is what we call life, mammals and fish and plants and birds. But then there's microbial life. Now, what do we know about microbial life? Microbial life doesn't always play well with more advanced life forms. Germs and bacteria and funguses and viruses can cause problems for larger life forms. But temperature variations, wild swings in temperature, have an effect on which type of life flourishes. And I'll give you a link to this. This is SciTech Daily. Basically, in a nutshell, the colder it is, the less microbial life you have. We found that when it was warmer, at the end of the Cambrian and early Ordovician, there was also a peak in microbial abundance. From there, it cooled off, going into the middle to late Ordovician, when we see abundant animal fossils, before a substantial ice age ends the Ordovician. So that's the key. That's the key right there. It might just be that it's a self-defense mechanism. That perhaps they've been here for a very long time, and they have watched humanity rise to a certain level, and then something happens and they die off, and then they come back and then they die off again. The fossil record shows this, going back millions of years. Life flourishes and then dies, and then it flourishes again and then it dies off again. And we've even seen this recently with the Black Death. The Black Death in Europe. The plague came and went. It came and it went. Now, we don't have as detailed a record from Africa or South or North America, but that's only a matter of time. We do find, however, strangely, all around the world, abandoned cities. From Göbekli Tepe to Machu Picchu. And they find the remnants of the city and very few, if any, human remains. And they can't explain it. This could explain it. People left the cities. People left the cities because they realized, oh my goodness, this is what's making everybody sick. There's even a story on Fox today about people leaving Atlanta, moving out to the suburbs, and how the liberals hate that. I think Tucker Carlson had it. And that's what brings us back to this. If you didn't have to deal with people, why would you? That's what really has changed in the last 18 months. It wasn't like this 20 or 30 years ago. People didn't care so much. You go out to a bar, you go to a concert, whatever. There's a lot of people there. If you happen to get sick, you happen to get sick. But, you didn't have to worry about offending people and, things weren't so serious. Now, with the advent of the internet, which was supposed to bring people together, it's actually pushing people apart. Because now, why would you risk it? Especially if you lived in a liberal state. Do the risk-reward analysis. Given everything that's going on with politics and cancel culture, if you didn't have to risk offending someone or getting fired for saying the wrong thing or the wrong word, if you had the choice to stay home and work remotely, why would you ever choose to go be around liberals? Why would you do that? It's a minefield. What offends them today doesn't offend them tomorrow. What offends them tomorrow doesn't offend them today. There might be a brand new offense 7, 8, 10 days down the road that you don't know about yet. And as soon as you offend them, they're going to get online and they're going to get their little Twitter army after you and they're going to cancel you. You can't be around them. And with lockdown and cancel culture and with politics, that just is self-preservation. Self-preservation. I don't care what California says. People aren't going to go back. You see, they're going to say, oh, it's all clear now. Everything's fine. all clear. You can go back and start driving tax revenue into the government again. They're going to go, nope. Sorry. We're not robots. You can just flip on and flip off. It's not like the computer where you go press the button to turn it on and press the button to turn it off. And here's the irony of all ironies. And I'll leave with this. Liberals and these West Coast types have been trying for years to create this AI robot that was just like a human. Humans are unpredictable. Humans make their own decisions. Humans make decisions in their own interest. Why in the world would you ever want to create a computer or a robot or a device that could basically look at you and say, I don't want to work with you today. I'm not coming in. I just don't feel like it. I'm not going to do the thing that you built me to do because I just don't feel like it. Explanation? None. You see, that would be the ultimate achievement there. The unpredictability and ineffable quality that makes human beings human beings. And if that were your goal, why wouldn't you just deal with a human being to begin with? What would have been the whole point of creating a robot that way? When there are human beings everywhere. So, anyway, God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.